Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Create Your Own Reality podcast, where we share quotes, ideas, and stories from a variety of minds in order to encourage, empower, and inspire you all to create a life you love. If this is your first time listening to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're able to take something from this episode to turn your day from good to great. Let's get into it. Relationships aren't meant to be based upon example. If you go with the flow, all will come. When it comes to relationships, I think some people make them so complicated. Now, of course, people have their own preferences, boundaries, and even expectations. However, I think too many expectations can even ruin the best of things. Having too many expectations can create this almost rule book to follow within your own relationship. Whether that be things you require from your partner on a daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis, it can also make things become really mundane. I understand that for some people, repetition and a schedule can feel like security for them, but not everyone is the same way. In that same token, not every relationship is the same. For the relationship that you have with yourself, it may be okay to have a lot of expectations because you have to hold yourself accountable to get certain things done and to stay on a schedule. For the relationships you have with friends, family, and your significant other, too many expectations may be overwhelming. There are many factors that play into this. One of those is how similar you and the other person are. For example, if you are both very type A people, having a lot of expectations may work out because you both enjoy having things planned out in a routine way. However, if the other person is not the exact same as you, there may be a clash. For some of you, you may be thinking, why would my significant other or friend be the complete opposite of me? And yes, it may be a hot take, but sometimes it can create an amazing dynamic. This is my perspective on the matter based on my own personal experiences. Of course, your experiences may differ, so definitely don't take this as a golden rule or anything. When I have had friends or significant others who were just like me, of course, it was very easy. There wasn't a lot of resistance or conflict. It was very comfortable, which makes sense being that you're very similar people. However, within those time periods, I didn't expect much growth. When you're surrounded by people who are very similar to you, everyone's pretty much on the same level. There's no one to learn from or no one to go to when you're trying to level up. It can get boring after a while. Now, again, I am just someone who enjoys growth and self-development and leveling up. Everyone is different, and maybe for you, having that consistent comfort is just what you need. On the other hand, having people around you who may not be exactly like you can be really good. This opens you up to many opportunities, different viewpoints, learning different ways of life, and perspectives. That being said, there may be times when you face opposition in views or opinions, which can be challenging, but it also opens you up to having conversations you wouldn't normally have. You get to ask questions to be able to have a better understanding on things you didn't previously understand. I personally believe everything is about balance. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and those are going to vary from person to person. Again, in my experience, I think there is something so great about having a significant other whose strengths are different from yours. It really allows you to learn from each other and grow in those areas you may have been weak in before. I think it allows for things to flow better since you both feed into each other. For some people, this might be against everything you may have heard or thought about what a relationship should look like. But I think that could also be part of the problem. You shouldn't be striving to create a relationship that looks exactly like someone else's. Every person is unique, and every person is going to bring something different to the table. I think sometimes people look so hard for something so specific when it comes to a significant other. But you should never have to chase after anything or anyone. You just need to be yourself, which will allow the right people to find you and let that flow begin. Whether it comes to relationships with family members, friends, or relationships with a significant other, you have to figure out what that flow looks like for you. The dynamic is going to be different for everyone. There should be a give and take that flows between the two people. One day, one person might have to give a bit more than the other, but a couple days down the line, that'll flip. Because everyone is going to deal with things in life, and that's what we have our people for. They are there to support us as we are to do the same for them. Remember, relationships aren't meant to be based upon example. If you go with the flow, all will come. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this content, please be sure to share it with your friends or leave a review. Comment down below to share your takeaways with others or just to say hi. Stay tuned for any updates, and until next time, stay motivated, be inspired, and don't forget to encourage others.